Done.
Action.
Hi guys, my name is Mahesh and yet again I'm with Pratik. So he is interested in doing a ownership review of my Hero Honda Hunk. It's a 2010 model. So here we go.
ನನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಅವತ್ತು ಇರೋನ್ ಹಂಕಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಹತ್ತು ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಹಂಕಿದೆ ನಾನೇ ಅವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದಿನಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರೋದು ಹಂಕಿದೆ ಹಂಕಿದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇರೋಂದ ಈಸ್ 150 cc. This bike was released in 2007. This bike was released in Indian market, and this comes with two variants. One comes with a self-start and one comes with kick-start variant. This is a boat variant bike basically, and we had the recent 2011 model Hero Honda Hunk came with either red disc brake and a drum disc brake, but this vehicle has only one disc brake at the front, which comes 250 ml. The 240 ml display is coming in the front, but here it comes with a red drum brake and it comes in this vehicle. Hero Hunk was in the production from 2007 to 2015 what this bike is. This is 2010 model Hero Honda Hunk. 2012 Hunk came with new digital speedometer and a digital speedometer, but this is a full manual speedometer, and this comes with a 149.2 cc engine. It is an air cool engine. This comes with a 5-speed manual constant mesh gearbox. This has the front the telescopic front hydraulic shock absorber at the front. Rear we get the finger with nitrous gas reverse circulator. You get the rear. And about the height, this comes with a 2 mm red front disc brake, and the tires come 80 and the front tire we're getting, and rear we're getting 196 rear weight we're getting, and and my friend has changed he replaced the brand new. He has replaced his stock tire. This has 2000 internal millimeter in height. Width is around 7 mm and seat height. For the seat height, the ground to the seat height is around 785 mm. And the fuel tank with this bike is 12.4 liters. This fuel tank with this vehicle. This bike gives around 35 of mileage, no?
Approximately 40.
Inside the city condition.
Yes, in the city commutes I usually get around
Highway?
above 40, and on highways it might extend up to 45 or 48. It depends.
Highway you call 45 kilometers. In city is like 38 to 40 will come. And the reason a friend has this bike was bought in 2012. Stanley bought his second-hand bike. Recently this bike had run around 50,000 kilometers. The bike has run. Recently he has changed the four tires has been replaced after buying this has buying second tire. And he said both tires MRF Zapper or not? Is the Zapper tire or not?
Yes, those are the MRF zappers.
Zapper?
Yes.
How much it cost? Tell how much it cost this Zapper tire for you?
The rear one costed me 1,800 rupees. It's a tube type, but the front one, it's actually a tubeless. It costed me 1,500.
You have one guess. Both the Zapper tires only.
Yes.
After 50,000 kilometers, he changed the tires basically. After buying this bike, he bought his bike for 25,000 rupees. Bought this bike basically, and this is 2010 model bike. 2012 had a full digital meter. 2012 came with the analog in the left side, and right came with a small digital meter, which all the tachometer odometer was in the digital meter, and RPM meter was in the annual meter. 2012 Hero Honda came with, and my friend is a proud owner of Hero Honda. Basically, he uses for his office use and weekend life. He mainly uses Hero Honda. After I think that his bike is around 75,000. His bike is around.
It's almost about 70,000 now. I'm about to achieve that one. And it is a pretty good motorcycle, I must say, for the price it came at and for the year it was launched actually.
And the last Hero Honda Hunk came in 2015. Hero Honda discontinued this bike from Hero, and Hero separated from Honda basically. And that time the Hero Honda Hunk competitor was Pulsar 150. Then there was a TVS Ferro was there. TVS Ferro 150 was there, and another TVS previous bike was there. Previous another. This is a sport commuter bike, Hero Hunk basically. And already we had only 3 bikes in that total business segment. Pulsar was the ultimate commuter bike, and that time Pulsar was racing in all the commuter, but Hero Hunk could not compete with Bajaj Pulsar for that. They had to differentiate 250. Hero Hunk was this. You can see.
So this is a 2010 model. I bought it a couple of years ago. So I've done a few modifications to my motorcycle. If the camera could come closer, I'll tell you what are those. So basically, yes. So basically, I've rebored my engine to a higher capacity. So now it used to be a 149cc earlier, but now it is 180cc. So the engine head got rebored. Yes, rebored, and I have also changed my piston for a 180cc. I don't know the diameter exactly. My mechanic told me he used the piston of a Apache 180cc.
Okay.
Also, I've changed my carburetor. This comes from a NS200.
And after doing this, you have to tune the air and fuel properly. If you don't tune the air properly, fuel that may lead because only the proper mechanic will be knowing how to tune the air and fuel after any modified carburetors. I know.
Correct.
Because I've seen a lot of mechanics don't because I've seen some people they put came in a bike, they don't tune that carburetor. Other than engine fails and it goes to engine seizes the bit of a cane filter and bike goes to the showroom and you have to spend 600 rupees to engine rebuilding the engine. But this is what I've heard in basically bikers. But whenever putting a cane filter in after a filter or putting in a modification in other bike to this bike, you always tune a carburetor and make sure they take a professional mechanic always ask him for does he has tuned any modified bike like this or any other bike. After tuning a bullet at that time, you know, if in case of racing, you know the tune of the bike, because after that you know how to pick up the engine, pick up and everything will be impacted on the tuning of this stock of the modified carburetor. I want to explain.
This is basically now. It's running on a bigger bore and a newer piston, like a larger piston. Also, I've changed the carburetor as I told. So this is now a 180cc.
Yes, it is.
So initial pickup, it has got a slight difference. I mean, it has picked up very well, but the mid range is excellent. And the top end, I haven't tried it yet because it is still in its run-in period. So I have to take it very slowly, like for initial 1,000 kilometers or so. So after that, we'll be doing a top end performance check or even the top speed check. So until then, this is it.
And his sound felt difference in the stock. You don't hunk and modified hunk sound.
No, I don't feel any that much of a difference. It used to be very muted back then, and even today it's muted. But there's a little amount of bass noise. And that's about it.
And talk FTF.
So that's ATFT. They used to call Advanced Tumble Flow Induction Technology. That's technology used by Hero Honda back then. So I don't know how it exactly works, but very similar to whatever you've seen on Honda Eco Performance, Eco Technology actually. HCT Honda calls it, and even the Suzuki calls it SEP, meaning Suzuki Eco Performance. That's their way of tuning the engine for better mileage, fuel economy. Also by getting a better optimum performance from the engine, both at the same time, like getting the best balance between both. So they use one of these technologies and they rename it their version. So Hero Honda used to call it ATFT. I don't know what they call it now. So this model basically was a derivative of a Honda engine, a very famous Honda vehicle, the Honda Unicorn. So this engine has seen life in its CBZ, Hero Honda CBZ, and even the Honda Hunk, Hero Honda Hunk also came with the same engine, and even Hero Impulse actually got the same engine, which with a different tuning actually. So there are multiple iterations of this engine. So back in the day, Hero and Honda used to be married, but now they have divorced.
Take a tour of this vehicle. This is a 2010 Hero Honda Hunk 2010 one is done. This is now it's been partially modified by my friend, and you can see. And this is all like the shot. And after you don't engine modification at all. If you come with the front dashboard, he has put a mobile on put for.
So I'll talk about the accessories I've installed on my motorcycle. So this is basically a mobile phone holder just for your navigation stuff. It does come with a charger. That's pretty basic stuff. So coming along with this is auxiliary lights. Yes, these are auxiliary lights. I purchased this via Amazon for 1,000 rupees.
And this light
Work beautifully on very dark roads, but if it's already lit, you can't see the difference. I would say. And I've also upgraded my headlight bulbs to LED ones. These are generic unbranded ones. So my mechanic installed it. He charged me around 800 for the bulb. Along with that parking light also.
That much.
So yes.
And this cost 2,000 rupees.
Yes, this costed me 1,000 rupees. I purchased it from Amazon.
For a pot pay, you're telling.
Yes. So if you can see, if the camera could come closer, I'll show you. There are two switches I've installed on either sides of my handlebar. One is for the auxiliary lights, which I told you. So like this, and the other one, it's just a hazard light. I've installed it.
Many.
So yes, if you can,
all the 4 indicators will work at same time as hazard light. Basically.
Yes, all 4 indicators will light up at once.
You can see.
If I switch on the hazard lights.
Now you can see that's the forward front. You can see.
Yes, and even the fog light will flicker if I switch on my.
And basically,
we are morons who use hazard lights while going on road. It's a very bad practice, and it's not the recommended way of use. Hazard lights are meant to be used only if you're stopping by or if there is some problem with your vehicle. So you're pulling over to one side of the road. Only then you should be using your hazard light. But until then, it's not a good thing to use it.
And this sticker will cost 50 rupees because it's to put in a bike.
So I happened to have a crash recently, and so to cover up, I've put some stickers.
And also, the mudguard also has been cracked.
Yes, there was a crack in my mudguard. So my mechanic have yes, he have used some kind of adhesive and fixed it for the moment, but it's not a permanent solution. I'll have to look for something else. So if you can see the scratches over here, that's because
the bike fell at the left side. The bike fell.
Yes, onto the left, my bike fell, and my entire mask and the fairing got bruises. So the scratches are also visible yet.
And also the night time, this may affect in night time driving a stock, but it might affect in night time.
So it might affect, but I haven't took it out on a night time. And this is my new set of indicators. This also broke actually.
All for a change.
No, yes. This a couple of months ago I changed it, but this one I changed it recently.
And about the fog light, what happened to the fog light?
So luckily the fog light didn't get any damages, so I'm saved for that.
That's why you can see there's no scratch on the main glasses.
Yes, there are some paint damages. That's about it.
And you can see there's no heavy cracks on it on the glass also, fog light glass and the plastic pond also.
Yes.
That's just stock cash and storage. And it's not like any video of stock.
I've just put a wraparound cover.
Foam put in, extra foam.
No extra foam, nothing. Okay. So this is literally the.
Only seat cover has put it for this.
Yes, only the seat cover I've put it.
This is a matte finish. It is a black.
Yes, this is what to say, less slippery ones. This is a very cheap modification that you could do.
And after that's all, no?
Yes, that's about it.
That's only 2 to 4 modifications. Then 50 seat cost. Then yes, the mobile which cost 80 rupees. Mobile cost we need the charger. Then yes, put.
The LED costed me close to 800 rupees in. And that's excluding the parking bulb, and it's also very cheap, like 30-40 bucks.
And totally 840 rupees for the main light and the parking light.
Correct.
And 2,000 rupees for the fog lights.
Yes.
And for the seat cover, around 500 rupees for seat cover.
Yes, it's about around 500 rupees.
And mobile light, charger.
So the mobile holder, I purchased it on Amazon or Flipkart. I don't remember. It costed me like 600 rupees back then, but now it's pretty cheap.
Okay. And that's all. The ties are not. Here's up any wider. This is a normal tag. Tire now.
So this is running exactly the stock tires till now. I don't have any at the moment. So these are pretty much the things I've done. So why I've not upgraded the tires to a bigger one? Because mainly I'll be riding it inside the city.
City and,
so if you change the width of your tire, it will affect on your fuel economy. So which is the main concern in your city limits. And even if you take it on a highways and all, getting a wider tire will eventually get you a better grip. But this bike is not meant to push harder. It's only capable, very good sports commuter. That's what I would say.
And
That's
also,
about it.
and I
This is,
know about it. You have mentioned afterwards, no? I came with the bike when you bought the bike. Or
no, I got it installed both front and back.
how much it
I
costed?
paid around 700 rupees. It was like very initially when I bought this. So a couple of years ago when I bought it, that was the very first change I did to the motorcycle.
And we hit the bike. It came to normal. Now that you have seen a normal stock.
Yes, the very normal steel with
auto pulse
painted
here.
things.
And this is much better, you can say. This is better, but anyway, cost more costly.
Yes, the
than the normal one.
IND plates usually cost more for a reason, because it's recommended by the Indian government for a better legibility of the numbers, and it is also a good what to say way of getting your getting the cops away from you on road.
And also, if you
Bike IND plates have an advantage. Do have an advantage, but the way you install it matters. If you could see, I've just installed with 2 nuts and bolts. This could be removed easily by pretty much anybody, but on the cars, much more sophisticated way of mounting it. It's via riveted bolts. So basically, they are non-removable. Once you remove it, it's tampered. So it's not much of a security reason. This is much of a what to say, doing my purpose. That's it.
I've seen a lot of bikers who don't understand use of finding updates. I've seen. The bikers don't put IND on the bikes basically.
Yes,
I've seen super bikers, people don't use IND super bikes also.
So it's up to them how they prefer to maintain it.
Internet.
So going by the standards maintained by the government is always a good thing. And they do it for a reason. It's better to follow what they suggest.
And this is all the modified parts of his bike. No, we're going to continue. We're going to continue now. And talk about in the auto bike 2010. What all how much long days have it ended? So which of places are going to bike till now? Long days are going to bike till now.
So after buying this in 2019, I've basically not took it too long and all. I've only used it for city runabouts and weekend getaways. Only some far places from Bangalore, just for breakfast rides and just for leisure rides. So I have not done any major tourings as of yet.
How much kilometer was it?
So 200 kilometers in one stretch. That is one thing I've done. And I come from a background like I used to ride a Apache RTR 160 back then. So for me, whenever I talk about bikes, that's the reference point. So talking about this bike's handling, it's not the best. Talking about the brakes, this is not the best. Talking about the suspension, it is not the best. But everything it does in a very good way, but not the best way. So for me, I told you, like
I'm a crazy Pulsar owner.
Okay.
First time I'm driving this bike. First time I'm driving this Hero and my friend's bike. I've driven Pulsar 135 I've driven, 180 I've driven, and 150 my stock bike I've driven. And all the Pulsars I've taken in 135. My friend got 90 I've taken in normal highway road. I've taken in Manipur road. I've taken 90 I've taken in traffic. But his brake was a little loose for the friend bike. But other than pickup is good in his bike. Comfort was then 125, but 150 I've taken. And last year I've taken 128 I've taken in the nice road of the camp road I've taken. So that's under 180. My friend's modified bike. He sold it by that is a modified bike, 2011 model bike of the 180.
So while it was running on my stock setup, the top speed I've achieved, it's about 115. And although it was a analog speedometer, I don't know how much of a speedo error it was, but it used to indicate 115, and
No,
beyond
sir.
that, it wouldn't go because I'm a pretty hefty rider. And talking about my previous motorcycle, the Apache 160, like it used to hit about 124 or 125 with my weight. For reference, I was about 70 to 75 kilos back then. Now I've improved a lot.
No,
So
sir, same way,
maybe
I-
that's the reason I'm not able to push the bike faster.
And also in YouTube, I've seen this people that 140 I've seen. I've seen Iran in YouTube. I've seen videos of Takur Iran goes to 140. I've seen. They've shown the the 140, 160 they've gone. I don't know how much is true that. When I'm just I have a mobile app and I use a bird up to test my transport vehicle. I use a G1 mobile the I fitted I use a app like that. Then I'll test in the mobile app. I tested my bike around the 90-20 mobile app. I tested it. But the stock mode, the bike would go. My weight is 100 carriers. I went in disorder. I went it around 112 lakh clocked it in single rider. If I got board, if I got this, might will go out 85 will go gas in board pillion rider. In this pillion rider, it will go around the same like pulsar. It will go to 80 to 90 will go in
So to conclude with, these are not the motorcycles to test your top speeds. These are only best for commuting. So the comfortable cruising speed you can do, it's about 70 to 80. That's about it. And if you go any beyond that, you'll encounter a lot of vibrations, and it will be pretty uncomfortable. And even the brakes are not that great. So God bless you with your decision.
And this is all sport content. TS Apache, TS RT 180, 182, RT 204 V, Pulsar 150, 135, 180. This all sport commuter bike. CB is also all sport commuter bike. Basically for pickup with riders bike. It's not like it's not like your 200 cc or 220 cc which you can lean the bike in highways and drive at crazy speed. That thing you can't do in Hero. We can't do it in this bike. Pulsar we can do that. In 180 we can do it, but not in the Hero.
It all depends on the rider, how much capable the rider is, how much skilled he is. It all depends on his skills actually.
And now I don't know what people ask. This bike has been discounted to 2015.
Yes.
If anyone wants to buy this bike, how's the if you want to do in showroom, how's the spare compatibility and the servicing? Still Hero has spares and servicing in Hero showroom, or as per you, what's the experience of this bike till today?
Getting spares is a problem. Like recently, I I changed my handlebar.
The stock and all bike.
Yes, that's the stock handlebar. I again went for a stock handlebar because I wanted the stock handlebar. So it costs very cheap, like $300, but getting it is a problem. You will have to order it from Hero Motocorp website, Genuine Accessories website. It will take about 15 to 20 days for a very old motorcycle. It's about 11 years old now, and Hero does supply parts, but they take a lot of time. They have to ship it from Delhi or Haryana is what they said, and I can understand this during COVID it might delay. So getting the parts, it's a challenge for older motorcycles. So you'll have to be cautious before breaking any.
And as per reselling, all the major parts take minimum 1 month to 2 months it takes to come in. Major parts you can decide for is cracked, mudguard, exhaust, all over this major tank. This all will take it takes several months to get replacement.
Yes.
Other smaller, this all will be in the showroom.
Yes.
This will get easily.
Yes, yeah, the indicators are pretty cheap, like for $200, not even 200, 180.
And
so they are readily available in most parts of Bangalore.
Basically, indicators, number plates, hazard thing, this tail light, and this gripper, mirrors, this headlight thing, all of it ready available. Only with this major part of the exhaust, this
Yes.
grab rail, then this seat crawl, this main rear mudguard, this main petrol tank is tough to get this anywhere outside, and handle. However, asking aftermarket this auto spare, I have asked you to get there. They will give you asked anywhere like that.
Handlebar.
Outside aftermarket space will be auto space. In case you have you gone and asked there?
No, I didn't bother to go there because I didn't want to get affected during the COVID. So I stayed in my home. I gave my vehicle to showroom to get to procure it, to install it, pretty much everything. I usually give my bike to service with a mechanic friend of mine. So he stays in near Hezergata. So that's about it. The only time I visit a showroom is for the spares, the stock spares. I visit a showroom. Apart from that, for any other servicing, I go to my friend.
Because there's only often I'm wearing. I've seen bikers giving to short distance. There's only biker I've seen who goes to. He's in Vijayanagar. He goes he goes to give a bike. I don't know what logic is that giving him saying Vijayanagar gives to Hezerghat. He can give to any.
This is not the most logical solution on earth. So you are free to get it anywhere, serviced anywhere, like nearby mechanic,
local mechanic or
authorized service center is always the good thing to trust with.
And I know about the major part. Is it friendly to your pocket or is like out of your pocket basically? Because the major space of this vehicle, major space.
So this basically is a very friendly bike to own. This doesn't take any, doesn't charge you a lot. Like even the spare parts are very cheap.
I'm talking about the major.
About the air filters, I'll tell you about the engine oil change intervals. I'll change. So the
servicing what servicing to interview that is bike.
So the bike actually recommends getting one full service in once in 6,000 kilometers and a regular engine oil top up once in 3,000. That's what recommended. It does run with a 10W30 engine oil. So what I usually do is for every 3,000 kilometers, I usually go for an engine oil change.
And which company do you choose, Motor or Shell engine oil you choose basically?
So it depends. Earlier I used to use with Castrol some
power on telling
no, I used to go with the very basic mineral oil earlier, but now I've upgraded to Shell semi-synthetic engine oil.
Which costs enough, it costs 400 rupees. It costs.
Yes, it is a bit more expensive than your regular mineral oil, but since I've upgraded my engine capacity, it's the decision I'm willing to take. I've changed my engine oil to semi-synthetic. It's made by Shell, and it is also a slight increase in the the price, and it's totally worth it, is what I believe.
And also I see some bikers they stick to one company called Motul. Motul is the best engine oil they can buy because
Yes.
because Motul for this bike 700, 500, 100 is the best one. Because I also use Motul for 3-4 times I use Pulsar. I that's my vibration has come down in Model I heard there. Now also last time I changed to Power One, I choose the Power One. I have to use basically Power One. Mainly the super bike owners they use Power One for higher buzzer. That I have changed to that cost me 250 rupees. He charged me for the cost of Power 1 liter. 1 liter, but this is the 1 liter diesel to the 400 rupees Shell advance only. It is the normal Shell
ml exactly, and there will be 100 ml remaining, so that I have to top it up in between. So talking about the spare parts, the general spare parts, so the brake shoes, the rear brake shoes wear out really easily because they are not a disc type, they are drum type, and it usually costs me $200 for the brake shoe setup.
And the front one.
Not the setup, but the brake shoes alone. And talking about the front disc brakes, they cost about $380 for a pair of disc pads. And the disc plate. The disc plate usually costs me 1,100 for one time. Like
This calipers cost.
I don't know about the caliper price, but I'm also planning to upgrade my brakes with steel braided lines.
Which one on the upgrade, like the bump
I'm planning about the next upgrade is
brakes?
yeah, the brakes.
That
I have
is
to change the caliper, not the caliper.
Caliper.
This one, the brake hoses.
Hoses.
I have to get it installed from NS, not NS, Pulsar 220.
And basically they put a hose here and then put that.
Yes, this hose it's made up of rubber,
Rubber.
but whatever the brakes come in Pulsar 220, it's a steel braided ones. So you'll have a better braking performance once you do that, is what I believe. And the master cylinder and the brake calipers will remain the same. And if I could improve, I'll plan to upgrade my master cylinders as well. But I don't think so. It's of a necessity enough.
And it was without of the tires also without basically. Tires also without around 4.5 without it that. Back side the tube top, front the tube. I think so. Any bike, whenever you buy a tube, change the tubeless. Because any time punches then pushing any bike, this is around 149 kg bike because the pulsar when I was a puncher when I was a tube top, I could not put this bike itself. But I change when you buy any bike, go for a tubeless. There's tubeless is there now. I'm a driver, but up to 50 km you can drive the bike. Around in 1 year you can drive and go to near puncher because the tube type now driving is not easy because boat will be wobbling basically, no? But
Yes, correct.
I've seen, and that's the issue
So,
with the tube type basically.
Another disadvantage I could talk about this vehicle is it doesn't come with a engine kill switch, which I used to have on my TVS Apache, and pretty much I feel every bike should include that. It's not a luxury feel or factor, but it's always good to have one switch. So I don't know why Hero and Honda never really used to give back then. I don't know about today.
Another way back I've seen Bajaj Discover also had the same feature. Bajaj Discover I've seen a 120 and then 10 150 also. Because I've driven a 150, I had Bajaj 150 Discover. That time they didn't have any kill feature. Bajaj 150 also. Discover had only self-charge had auto. Only the charger on this bike and after the using the key which are that's what happened in Discover. After the same with Bajaj Discover this model basically. And this is a stock speedometer, you can say. Nothing is upper that speedometer basically. And
so since he bought about the Bajaj Discover, I must say these mirrors are from Bajaj Discover. I have swapped it. The stock ones were not that great when it comes to visibility, so I did replace it. It's pretty cheap. I don't remember the price, like 200, less than 200 or
okay.
somewhere around 200.
Then about the rider and pillion, what is the total after filling full tank of the vehicle? What is the total weight of the pillion and the port full tank of the vehicle filling to 12.5 liters fuel?
So I haven't measured it yet, but the bike roughly weighs about 150 kilos and the fuel tank of 12 liter. You calculate the weight, and I'm about 80 kilos. And if I take Pratik with me, he is about 100 kilos.
And the total weight is
So
around,
100, 80 and 150, and calculate the fuel weight, and this still performs really good,
300
but not top speed levels and all, but it is good commuter, I would say.
You got all the information here about the tires, service interval, spare parts, and the modification of this bike. Now I think next will be the riding video. Next will definitely riding.
Please do not buy this because it's a pretty old motorcycle.
And if you want to have, you can only go for Bajaj Pulsar. Bajaj Pulsar parts available everywhere. You will get Bajaj Pulsar parts available easily, and TTN
So even Bajaj, I wouldn't say, for that matter, any motorcycle, don't go for older ones. Like, you will get a good discount maybe, but over a period of time you'll have to shell out a lot of money for basically, if your bike is very old, like for 15 years, the very first thing you'll have to do is a fit FC, and that will cost you about 2,500 to 3,000 depending on the RTOs. So I would say you better stick with a motorcycle which is about roughly less than 8 to 10 years old and not beyond that.
And this is because fiber or full metal bike you tell about?
So this motorcycle has a mixture of both metal and fiber parts. The only big metal part, I would say, it's the fuel tank. So all the fuel tank extensions and the side components are all made up of fiber.
And actually, these are all the fiber.
Yes, they are completely fiber.
Only the tank is metal.
Yes.
Only different is metal, that is.
Yes, that's the only metal part. And
target is also metal also. But the handlebar will get bent easily, I think, so. When it's heavy,
yes, the handlebar is like very vulnerable, and it's made really cheap, I would say. So it is not, it doesn't take more than one impact. So even at the very first impact, it will bend very easily. It's not that sturdy. So
and also this handlebar copies from Hero Shine. Honda Shine also has the same handlebar, I think. So
no, the Honda Shine usually have a more upright handlebar. These are very low set. So this handlebar used to come on CBZ Extreme back then. And
he's talking about the 2009 model Extreme, sorry, not a recent model Extreme.
Yes, not the recent one Extreme, but I'm talking about the older ones. So earlier even the CBZ Extreme used to come with a similar handle setup, and later the CBZ got an upgrade. They changed it to clip-on handlebars. So even my Apache RTR used to have a clip-on handlebar. So I think the battery is about to die. We'll have to end this